Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you've been following me on Instagram, you know that I've recently been to Saskatoon and I got a lot of DMs when I was there asking me to do a video about Saskatoon, and I decided to share my knowledge here today, convert all this knowledge into a video, and I decided to talk about top 10 things to know about Saskatoon. So let's get down to it. Even though Saskatoon sounds very similar to Saskatchewan, and you would think that Saskatoon is the capital of Saskatchewan, it's actually incorrect, and Regina is the capital of Saskatchewan, not Saskatoon, even though they have similar names. And a lot of the immigrants, or even me, before a couple years ago, I used to think that Saskatoon was the capital, but it's actually Regina and not Saskatoon. Even though Regina is the capital of Saskatchewan, the University of Saskatchewan is actually located in Saskatoon, which is pretty surprising because mainly they have the main university in the capital city, like Alberta's one is in Edmonton, I guess British Columbia's one's Vancouver. This is a bit out of the norm where it's actually in Saskatoon, and let me tell you, the university is beautiful. I've been to the university and I made a vlog on that too. Check that out. I'm going to be posting it after this video, so stay tuned. You would be surprised to know that there are actually no trains in Saskatoon. We were so surprised when we found out that there are no trains and there are just limited buses all around Saskatoon. So public transit is not the best, and it gets really difficult, especially for immigrants moving in. And almost everyone in Saskatoon has a car because transport is very difficult. The buses are not as frequent, and it's really bad during winter times when it can go up to -50, and the transits are not the best at all. So if you're planning to move to Saskatoon, know that you definitely need a car. Speaking about less transits, there was something more surprising that we found out when we visited Saskatoon was there are no Ikeas in Saskatoon. So if you know about Ikea, you know that it's a furniture shop. I actually did a vlog on it. I'll link it on the screen. Make sure to check that out. And IKEA is a furniture shop which is pretty famous, and you actually go and get furnitures over there because the furnitures are affordable. So Saskatoon doesn't have any IKEAs. It was a shock to us, and when we asked our friends how they manage their furnitures, they told us that the nearest IKEA is in Edmonton, which is 8 hours drive away, or their best bet is on Marketplace. So they either look at Marketplace or they go to Edmonton and get it delivered from there, or they look at Edmonton's IKEA and get it shipped all the way to Saskatoon. So again, as you can see that they have limited resources. Saskatoon is a pretty small city. You can go from one point to another in less than 10 minutes. Everything is within 10 minutes drive. So it's pretty easy to get by if you have a car. You don't need to worry about traffic. It's very traffic friendly. There's not much traffic. And even though Saskatoon is completely plain and flat, it's super easy to go from one place to another. Compared to if you are living in Calgary, you know that it doesn't take you 10 minutes. Calgary is pretty big, and Calgary is made into quadrants, while Saskatoon is kind of like just plain all over, and you can just get by within 10 minutes drive of any place you wanted to go. Saskatoon has GST, which is sales tax, and they also have provincial sales tax. So they have a GST and they have PST. GST is 5% and PST is 6%. So a total of 11% tax is given to Saskatchewan province. So Saskatoon has 11% tax compared to Alberta, which is only 5%. So if you wanted to compare, then you are paying a bit more tax in Saskatoon. It is immigrant friendly. Now, if you are familiar with SINP, which is Saskatchewan nominal provincial program, and a lot of the immigrants actually use that program, and it's pretty easier than rest of the province currently for immigrants to come to Saskatchewan. We saw a lot of immigrants, and we also heard from our friends that a lot of the immigrants are coming in, so they have built a community within themselves. Everybody pretty much knows one another since they all came within a year or two of each other, and so they are well connected. Saskatchewan province in general, which also includes both Saskatoon and Regina, they face extreme weather conditions. So we've been to Saskatoon and have stayed there for a few days, and it went up to 32 degrees, and it was so hot and humid, and the heat was unbearable. Now, if Calgary ever goes to 30 degrees, it still has a gentle breeze and it has cold air, or you don't feel as hot. But during our time in Saskatoon, we felt super hot, and they were complaining that this is a very common thing in Saskatoon. They face extreme harsh weather conditions. Even during winters, it goes up to minus 50 and it stays minus 50 for days. It gets really hard for them to travel because a lot of the snow is not shoveled at that time. And in Calgary, you know that we have Chinook weather. I did mention it in my previous videos. I'm going to link them on the screen. If you don't know about it, do make sure to check that out. But we do have Chinook weather, and it actually makes the temperature rise up every few days. So we are not always in minus 20 for the whole of winter, which is a plus if you're living in Calgary. But in Saskatoon, they really do face extreme weather conditions. So it gets harder to live, especially if you're moving from abroad, like from more humid countries like Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, or if you're just moving from the Middle East where it is super hot, then yes, making an adjustment in Saskatoon is going to be a bit difficult since you're not used to these extreme temperatures. You won't really find a lot of jobs in Saskatoon. I know that everybody who are moving to Saskatchewan in general through the SINP program, they are feeling that it's a bit easier. And most of the people who are moving in Canada right now, they are feeling that getting jobs will be easier. But what you don't know, and the grass really looks greener on the other side, is when you move to Canada, you really have to struggle to find the first job, at least for a couple months or so. And you have to settle for the basic job because over here they look for the Canadian experience or the Canadian degree. And if you don't have the Canadian degree, you can only go so far. You'll be stuck at a amount of job, like let's say you'll be stuck at 50 or 60K. You won't be going up until you have a degree. So these are the things which are not discussed when you are coming through immigration program, and only once you come here you realize that. And the same thing is happening for Saskatoon. They are barely having any basic jobs available as well because they only have 3 Walmarts. And of course, when immigrants come here, they want to apply to the first basic job to survive. And once they come and they are filling up all the Walmart spots, so the newer immigrants are even struggling to get a basic Walmart job, and jobs are really scarce in Saskatoon. Mid-level jobs are also very less. If basic jobs are less, then you can imagine mid-level jobs being even lesser compared to basic jobs. This is a sad reality when you're moving to Saskatoon. And if you're thinking of moving, just make sure to do your research and know what you're gonna do before you're moving. Of course, I know that immigration sounds super exciting, better future, and I can make another video about the pros and cons since I've been in Canada for over 4 years now. So I do have a very good experience of what's going on over here. I can make another video on that. But do your research when you're moving to Saskatoon because the grass always does look greener on the other end. Since Saskatoon is very quiet area, if you're planning to raise your families here, then it's a very good place to raise them because it's for someone who likes slow living, someone who doesn't like the crowds, doesn't like hustle and bustle, just wants to enjoy the small and slow living with less people but peaceful, then Saskatoon is the place for you. We've seen a lot of immigrant families don't leave Saskatoon. They want to raise their family, so they've been here for years. And it's a perfect place to raise your families because everything is a bit cheaper compared to the other provinces in terms of rent, accommodation, and food. Everything is a bit cheaper compared to the other provinces right now. And if you're planning to save and just raise your family, then Saskatoon is the right place if you can just ignore all the other things in it. And this was basically what I've learned during my short stay in Saskatoon. If you guys want to add more or if there are more interesting things to know, leave them on the comments below. And I would definitely love to know more about what you guys think. And if you are trying to come to Saskatoon, what are the things that you want to know? And maybe I can help you out. If you've liked my video today, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you're new. Hope to see you guys in my next video real soon. Till then, bye.